BTC and ETH anyway right now. So it was interesting, and we'll get to this in a moment. Not that there's too much to cover, but the United States CPI data did come out today, and I don't know how legitimate the number actually is, but inflation came out at 2.9%, just shy of the 3% that people were expecting. So you would figure that medium term anyway, it would lead to kind of some bullish action in the markets. We had a sell the news kind of off of it today a little bit, but at least it wasn't some disastrously high number that, is leading to even, further speculation of emergency rate cuts or anything, even though we think that's likely here in September. But we have Bitcoin at just below 59K right now. ETH has gone up to just about 2,700, a little bit below that right now, but at least it has come up a bit after that disastrous weekend, like we said a couple of weekends ago, where it wicked the whole way down to 2,100 for a short period of time. But its ratio against BTC is still pretty pathetic, so we'll kind of look at that too. But it is really good. I mean, we'd be remiss if we didn't kind of keep an eye on the big picture here, in that Bitcoin has moved up and had at least one weekly close where it needed to, out of that danger territory after that really rough weekend a couple weekends ago. So we have seen it go up. We've seen it get well over 60K before this pull off today. So that is nice to see. I guess we can look at both charts, maybe even the ETH to BTC chart. You were talking about that with me before we went on the air here, Ewok. But where do we go from here? And as we head into the fall, because I think that, I don't know if we're going to see anything change way too much with Bitcoin anyway, at least until end of September. And again, we are heavily expecting rate cuts to be coming in September of at least 25 basis points, with a potential of 50 still as an outside shot. So yeah, what do you make of what we're seeing right now?
Well, taking a look at the Ethereum, this is the US dollar chart that we were actually talking about. And last week on Wednesday, we had this red candle right in here. And this is where I was saying, we're running out of time in this falling wedge channel, that something was probably going to happen, relatively quickly. And sure enough, the very next day, this green candle started and just shot right up and out of here. Mm-hmm. So when I say we've bottomed, that's kind of what I'm referring to. We're pretty excited for the Ethereum chart to take off, right? Because that's technically what will start the run for everything, for Pulse Chain especially, because the liquidity is tied so heavily together. So, this is the one when I said bottomed out. Now the Pulse Chain prices could go a little bit lower probably off of that, but this is where we're really excited to see. So as far as the ratio, we've also pulled out of that massive slump last week. We were down here in we had just gotten back up into the 0.04 range. We did raise up to close to 0.046. Kind of pulled back just a hair, a little bit back down to 0.044. So, this is obviously, we want the corrections to happen as this rises too. We don't want it to go parabolic like this green candle, because it almost always comes right crashing back down. So, we want this to be a healthy increase too on the Bitcoin ratio. So looking good. As far as Bitcoin goes, still in this pretty much sideways channel. Not a whole lot of change. It ranges anywhere from 54 all the way up to 73. I mean, I know that's a pretty large channel, but it's just not really doing anything outside of that. So more sideways action there. It's kind of like poking the bear and do something kind of thing. So
yeah,
that's where we're at with that.
And I think that is, like I said, I think that's where we'll be with BTC here for the next few weeks anyway. I mean, the real action, I mean, the rate cuts are definitely going to do something. I think we'll see something in the, days and week or two after that. And then, of course, the big election coming in the fall, which we've been talking about that stuff so much that maybe there's not much time to get into that this week. We'll see what happens. But, I think that is, you, me, and a friend were talking the other day about, the potential of, Kamala winning, and everybody's senses are just so heightened right now that I think crypto people are starting to get to the point where they're like, oh, if she wins, I mean, it's done. We're done. Bull market's called off. And I know it's not a popular opinion probably in crypto circles, but to me, I mean, clearly I would rather her not win, but if she did, and we get something similar to what happened in the last election, I think that the 4-year cycle is still here to say I'm not like in any way going to be bearish on crypto. I just think it's going to be better in the short term, and it's going to, better legislature is probably on the horizon with the Trump presidency. I mean, like everybody would
Yeah,
think. So,
well, my opinion is the bull market is still here. I just think we do much better under a different administration. That's all. I think,
yeah.
I think we're still going to see sizable gains this cycle, but it could be better. I think with the Republican side of things, just there's more bullish sentiment. There's more backing it. There's less fighting it. The more time people have to spend fighting initiatives and trying to get things through, or lobbying for whatever, and just the less time that is spent, the more time that can be done onboarding new people. So, I definitely think there is an outcome. They're both bullish, but one is more bullish than the other.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know if the Harris election, her being elected would be bullish, but I mean, either way, we're in a bull market. So, I mean, I think people are like looking way too deeply into the election, pretty much like happens with everybody about every issue, every single election. That's just what people are going to do. Right. So, yeah, the main thing is it sucks, but it's kind of just still continuing like with these two, with Bitcoin and Ethereum, just waiting for Ethereum to float up against Bitcoin. And until it starts to do that, it's just a waiting game. You just have to have faith that eventually we're going to see that close the gap and see the altcoin index start to close on Bitcoin. So I know we have plenty of people out there doing victory laps about Bitcoin the last few weeks and months, but that means there's still opportunity to buy for us right now. So that's the nice thing about that.